Hello, it is 10:09 p.m., 5/4/2025 here at PARACONOMY Inc. Welcome to my YouTube channel on Professor Fun 101. And we're here to discuss and dialogue some things that are just up in my noggin. So, um, that takes me to some interesting dreams that I'd like to share, where I have a lot of different souped up ideas. So I have a dream where I'm flying like a jetpack downtown Chicago, and like it's nighttime, and it's either this like Spider-Man thing or this jetpack thing, and I'm like running on windows and stuff, and then like floating around and stuff, and people are like watching me, like fly around Chicago and like buildings, like a superhero or some crap. Um, and like I have other dreams where, and there's one with I'm pretty sure these guys, Oracle Apothecary, where I am, they're lighting a charcoal, which is funny because like I went to their store, 1010. I went to her store and she's like, we had like this almost dry assumption about like something. But if we shared any of this post meeting, um, or pre-meeting, that we have have an attempt to establish the partitioner, the for the conduit and spirituality. So whatever she's plugged into and whatever I'm plugged into, we shared in this weird white like um room or like storefront or something, and like there's like a we have like a charcoal lighting, and it like and it like sparks and it like starts to like spider out really funny. um so like that's kind of something in my dreams where I know spiritually there's something else going on top of it. I've also had dreams in like Chicago, and like some of them are, I have dreams pre Cassie and Mars, and then like dreams post Cassie and Mars. And so like my last roommates, my old roommates, where I've got this thing going on, and like now I have dreams, and there's like this big, I have like this scene where there's this big, it's this like big garage like under from like under the ground, and we're like walking outward towards like this big opening, and it's like all like bright and like green and vivid outside and stuff like that. um and you can kind of like walk around this place, and it's a lot like, if like, I don't know, if they touched up this sense of like tourism or something. It's like a weird, different future Chicago city. And so like I'm floating around some of these dreamscapes, and they're like kind of driving me nuts here because it's leading other people in and out. And there's a few where I'm like dealing like ayahuasca, like a big old barrel of it, in like a taxi and stuff like that. And like I have like other dreams in this same city where like I'm shopping with people, and like there's a couple where I'm like biking around a parking garage, and my ex is still alive and like with a group of friends, and like I'm late or something. I've got something else going on. And like I've also like, I get chased by the cops a lot, and like I have weird like side quests where I'm like traveling throughout the city, or like different universities, and like other things going on in my dreams. And it kind of takes me to these some of these weird dreams where I'm out in the country or like they get really surreal. Some of them, but I'm extremely lucid through many of them. And now I have like so many to pull from that it starts to get like kind of I gotta start getting a little more try to fine tune here and get specific with what I'm recollecting because the more I pull at this thread here on detail, the easier it seems to be to get a hold of like the importance of having them. And there's a couple where I'm like, I've got a bunch of kind of creepy ones with a lot of like childhood nostalgia wrapped around them. Um, and they lead me to a few where there's like people chasing me or like boogeymen kind of like lurking around. Um, I've got some really interesting like demons that like kind of chase me around, a few of them. And I have like a lot of uh like kind of really immaculate dreams, and some of them get a little more suggestive and whatnot the further I go. So like that's kind of where some of them stop doing that. And other it starts to take place more on a dialogue and like like a tangent on philosophy or social like science or something like that. And like all of a sudden I'll be adventuring like into like the like more kind of cinematic aspects of the lucid dream. So if like there's this connection between life and death and like the dream realm, and we're starting to find different ways to where we can access the the deeper potentials of humanity, or we're able to actually like kind of skyrocket some of this into a more propulsive like kind of journey of self towards some of your dreams because they end up evolving away from people. And this could be a part where it takes this little bit is then you end up back with like an environment where there's like guiding and people again. But in and out, there's like there's a lot like I'll have for example, I'll have dreams where I'm falling. I've had or I have dreams where like my teeth fall out and like stuff like that. I have like or I'll have dreams where I'll be bawling in my eyes out in my dream and I'll wake up and I'm like crying. So like, there's just different things. I've had dreams where I'm like wetting the bed, like, and then I wake up and I like wet the bed. You know, I had a lot of different things happen to me while I'm like sleeping. So like that could be like a part of like your body trying to like speak to you on top of it too. Because if you end up having like a cause and effect like kind of um what are the words not like a symbiotic but like if you have like a call and response to your dreams and like you're not really falling, other things like that and you check your teeth are still there, you know. There's dreams where so like, we're all human and that's kind of like a part of like experiencing where we're at in humanity and stuff like that. Um, and that's kind of where like you got to look at what in the world is like happening if there is this thing that we're able to access and like as long as you keep the details straight you can continue to like communicate with this entanglement. So like, yeah, I just put some things on blast. I have been having weird dreams where I'm like working in the dream realm for like the powers that be. For all I know, for all intents and purposes, it feels like there's a part of like the world that I am being called to like work for. And there's like there's a few dreams that I have where I'm talking to my family and I'm like getting ready to travel and stuff like that. And like they're the kind of general vibe is that everything is starting to get dying down and it's like supposed to get like dark and like kind of dreary and like dour and stuff like that. So like that's kind of where I start to kind of feel for this dark empathy kind of existence where then I'm like looking for I've already experienced some weird things in my like waking life. So I'm looking for the seams on my like dream life and my like waking life to see if I'm dreaming and of lo and behold I usually find the difference, because I'm like, "Well, this is a dream. This is all like this, and you guys, maybe we need to, like, sacrifice some of this thing because this is just a dream right now, and we can meet here." But if we can't, like, do that in person, that's gonna be a little bit different too, and we'll have to fine tune it. So, like, that is something that has happened, and, like, maybe maybe I understand, but maybe my family doesn't take as seriously with me because they look at my real life and they're like kind of assume that like I because I'm not fiscally independent in so many ways and it like requires a lot of me that I must not be worth it. Even though when I like like compensate in some of this intangible, right, reality because, like, I I'm doing a lot of work. I'm doing a lot of thinking and preparing and, like, executing for my own, like, goals in life and stuff like that, and it's helped me get to where I'm at today, which is kind of, like, some of the whole reason to, like, want to connect to somebody is because they're trying to do something with their with something you help them out with, it's, back and forth. So, like, you communicate what they need, and what you might expect then from what it is that that person might need from you. So, like, if that's also another propulsion system for, like, why people travel certain directions in their life is because there's this emotional understanding and, like, baseline of, like, kind of supporting that and trusting what it is that person's putting in on that part for their, like, investments on themselves is how you can, like, kind of articulate that part, excuse me, and, like, sort of like mm, excuse me, sort of like transmute and, like, remanifest this part between, um what you know to be possible as you create things that are accessible through the conduit. So, like, as you find catalysts that help you articulate your dream space through some of your melatonin receptors and stuff like that in your third eye and your pineal gland while you're sleeping versus like a more grandiose, say you take a heroic dose of mushrooms and you're like you have open eye full waking life visuals on like your reality or say it's like the big sleep and you're processing death and you're starting to hit this threshold on melatonin distribution on your face. So you need to have a sort of guideline. It helps to get this part nailed down before your 30s and that way once it resurfaces you're not just like stuck out in the open hallucinating and thinking oh am I awake or am I sleeping and it starts to dissolve the barriers of what you know to be true in your sleeping life if you are consistent as in your waking like life. So if you have dreams, which many people do have dreams that continue off of other dreams, so on and so forth, and your legacy of what it is that you'll articulate both in your awake life and your sleeping life give you that little bit of like where you can build that consistency or trust with people and like situations and moments because I have dreams where like there's masses of people that I'm like attempting to like drum major back together and like lead large groups of human beings together weirdly. So it's like a weird call to action that I have in my life and like in my dreams it makes sense because like there's people giving me the time of day. Whereas in my waking life, I'm getting evicted, like I'm getting thrown in jail, like all sorts of stupid, crazy crap. Which kind of then makes you kind of wonder if there's not more to it than just that. And people are like paying attention to what it is that you're doing in reality. Which like gives you this weird Hollywood magic where all of a sudden you have like a plot device and like a whole reason to like be righteous or fight an antagonist or whatever it is and you know you give it meaning so like that could be some of the push pull here on setting up the right organic tension between what people know to be like possible like today with some of that the dexterity that some people have in that difference in lucid dreaming and waking state life and directionality and stuff and like where that could put us in the future because if I'm building jetpacks and like there's weird things going on, and people wanna get a feel for, like, what, like, humanity wants to see out of the next 40 years, then it could give us a good compass for, like, the rate at which we're able to articulate these kind of phenomenon that we're kinda we could be like, kind of having premonitions of collectively if there's more of a hive mind that some people access that melatonin receptor more readily than others, and it gives us a legacy to communicate all of our thoughts and ideas and expressions more widely and connected in you know tighter niche bonds and trust and connection and community and whatnot. This time is 10:27. Guys, think about that. Leave me a comment. Like this video. Share this with the other people who are, you know, connecting with their dreams and like, you know, their identity and like who they feel and who they know they are to be. Because you know, I'd love to know where you guys are at and what you guys think about some of this speculation here, and you know, where it could lead us in discussions towards civilian disclosure.